It's about 12:07 on Sunday, May 24th of 2026, and I'm on my what is this? This is a Hewlett Packard EliteBook. Oops, I just disappeared. Oh, there it is again. EliteBook G8, the fourth computer I had to buy because of the Greek and Italian mafia. And this is a film of all the Bluetooth devices in the area, and as you can see, one of them, they're sort of appearing and disappearing. Yeah, there they are. I think someone's been hacking into my cell phone and my cell phones using Bluetooth. I don't know exactly how it works. I'm going to find out. There's been a history of hacking with Greek Italian mafia on Fairview Street. I believe their hacker lives at 1 Fairview Street. I fled Dartmouth in January of 2024 to try and save my father's life, and out of fear for my safety, the reason I did that to save my father's life was to force my mother and sister to get my father the right level of care. Basically walked into my mother's room at 3 in the morning and said, "Look, you have narcissistic personality disorder. This isn't working, this isn't working, this isn't working." And I said a few choice things and I left. And since I've been home, my mother and sister killed my father using a combination of arsenic poisoning and I think they might have had him killed in the hospital. They still haven't told me his cause of death, nor where he died, nor the circumstances of his death. I don't know if, it could have been a one-eyed, one-horned, flying purple people eater that flew into the room in the medical facility he was in and killed him. They never told me what killed my father. And they've cut me off from all kinds of information and funds, so I can't sue them in civil court to bring to light the fact that they used a combination of the Italian mafia, the Greek mob, perhaps the Mossad, because the rabbi who lives on the corner of Fairview Street and Honeywell Avenue in Newton is a scion. I can get into the background facts of that later. And God knows who else to murder my father. He's a combination of all those people to murder my dad after my mother neglected and abused him and poisoned him with arsenic. There was a whole lot my father didn't tell me. And I believe the reason my father didn't tell me is he was an employee of the CIA, and some evil piece of shit in the Central Intelligence Agency was ordering my father to keep certain things classified so that he couldn't tell me. And also my father was a counterintelligence officer, and he was trying to catch my mother and sister, and so he was not allowed to tell me a lot of things. Anyways, the point is, that's some of the context, and I've been at 10 Fairview Street since late January of 2024, and I have struggled to survive. My mother and sister have cut me off from information and money, and when they promised, I've been robbed of 10 years of labor taking care of my mother and father, and in the last 5 years it was a lot of work, and I've been extorted, threatened with death, and I've been disinherited effectively from my father's will. So my sister and my mother have cut me off from all means by which people normally survive. Money for food, social contacts, professional contacts, and even digital devices. I got an extra cell phone at one point, a smartphone at one point, and somehow it got canceled. The bill stopped being paid, and right before that happened, someone logged into my Facebook account from the same make and model of cell phone in Manhattan. It was a Samsung A03. And, obviously that was my sister hacking into my account with a similar smartphone. So they've cut me off from, being able to make contact with anybody by hacking into my cell phones and prevent, canceling the accounts, and making sure I didn't have a phone line at the house, and making sure I didn't have an internet connection at the house, and making sure there was no cable service at the house at 10 Fairview Street, and cutting me off for money for food. I get $650 a month for food. And the only job opportunity I could have found was Amazon Logistics. My sister arranged that by, a combination of defamation and threats from the Italian mafia to people I was potentially working for, and probably the CIA, George Forster Colony. So I'm finally, I cashed in a retirement account, and I couldn't get a hold of the check. The mailman diverted the check to my mother and sister in Dartmouth, and they tossed out the check, and I threatened the post office with the postal inspector's office, and I finally got my retirement money. And between that and the Amazon Logistics money that I made at working at Amazon Logistics in 2 seasonal jobs, and the $650 a month my sister and mother do send me for food occasionally. I should say occasionally. Occasionally the check just disappears and doesn't show up, and it shows up months later on the back step. And that's the Greek and Italian mafia. Between the little bit of money I've been able to scrape together, I finally got a computer after 2 years working. And, but they're still hacking into all my devices, so I can't find work online. I'm afraid that I won't be able to find work online. And this stupidity is just more of the same. I think there's a Samsung TV in the neighborhood that they're using to hack into the device. And if anybody's wondering how this all happened, if you look at the real estate records, and if you figure out the fact that Dionisios Timbalopoulos is a Greek mobster, and the Greek mob works for the Italian mob in the greater Boston area, and you realize that Rich Bebo of 4 Fairview Street is an associate of the Italian mafia, because he's in construction and he never works, and his wife is dead, and his daughter never comes home. Once you figure out that there's a crew working on Fairview Street, and they've been here since, if you look at the property records, they've been here since the 70s, you realize that 10 Fairview Street is a house where they put